You want to start now?
Wow, welcome me back. My wife and I just got back from our practically 1 month. It was 3+ weeks around Scotland, Ireland, UK, Wales, Northern Ireland. Anyway, these places. I brought back my Scottish souvenir hat, and I want to go over what things were useful and what things were not so useful for the trip to give you an idea of what kind of things you might want to bring uh, to make your vacation, your traveling more enjoyable and have the things that you need. My wife and I went on a, we're in London for a day, then we went on a 14-day princess cruise around the island, and then came back to London for about another week before we flew home. And these are the things that I found useful or not useful. That's the point. The point is to know what not to bring also, as well as what to bring. I brought this because drones are pretty much not allowed for Americans there. Have to go through a lot of trouble to get self-qualified for them. So I brought this super stick for my 360, my Insta 360 camera, so that I could make essentially drone videos by using it. This is this is actually a 9-foot stick. It extends out and the camera fits on the top. This is useful if you want to do something where you might want to do some kind of a drone footage in a place such as when we went to the Giant's Causeway in Ireland. I use this to try and get drone footage because drones are not available there. I mean, you can't use them there, period, even if you are a local and everything else. These you might have seen on a previous one. These are water bags that I love because they collapse to practically nothing. They don't leak. You can clip them on the outside if you want to. They simply pop up and have a watertight silicone thing on them. Nope. This is a bag for, don't even remember what that bag is for. So that makes no difference right now. My backpack. Well, the big backpack is hiding under here. Let's go to it first, because that makes a little more sense. The big backpack, which is what I carried everything in. For getting on the plane and everything, I used this backpack, which actually is a carry-on size that I can put up in there. Whereas this backpack becomes my personal item. So if I had a little extra, I could stick this, have it handy in the airplane flying to and fro. From San Francisco to London, it was a 10-hour flight. It was nice to have this bag separate from my main bag for traveling. This bag was very useful because in Europe, there are lots of places where rolling luggage is a pain in the backside. And you can break off wheels and stuff using it. Whereas this, for me, is perfect. Filled it up, packed it up, had water on the outside as necessary, and I filled it up as necessary. So this worked really great for me. These bags I used as collapsible bags to put my stuff in. So I put it in there. I grouped my different things together, such as my underpants and socks went in one, shirts and shorts went in another, rolled up in the military fashion that works so well. This, oh, there's a third one that I took. Third one that I took for, again, additional for my jacket and such. And those were great. I brought, again, these sandals because they worked great last time. They're actually all plastic, so they don't absorb water. And so I could use them as shower shoes, or I could use them walking during the day, or I could use them on the beach, anything like that. In UK, it rained plenty. So I didn't want to wear these outside, but I did use them as shower shoes and nighttime shoes. We stayed at hostels often, so they worked great for that. This was the bag that my smaller backpack came in. I decided it made a great object for putting different stuff in. I have a European, German, Austrian adapter in case I ran into that 2 months ago when we were across Europe. This would have been really handy. Uh, and this, of course, an American 5-volt USB extension, adapter, was very, very useful. Of course, everybody knows you have to bring these things these days to charge most of your electric items. Yeah, I brought a small wine bottle opener. Didn't use it at all on this trip, but I had it. It's fairly small. Didn't weigh anything. A little bit of extra change in case I needed it for a restroom in European money, euros and pounds. Wasn't an issue actually. The other charger that was my maiden charger was this block charger. Worked great. Comes out for Australia, comes out for the UK, flips out this way to plug in, has 2 USB connections, United States plug connections on this side, which is actually faster for charging with the USB adapter charger into this rather than out the side of that. That's one of the secrets that I've learned in the long run, that it was actually faster to charge through this.
No.
Okay, so I brought these. This is an oddball item that I bought. This is to allow me to use USB, not USB, that's USB, yes, but use it USB power and connector to connect this to the USB power in the seat back in the airplane, plug this into the sound out for the movies and such, and then I could listen to, and this has a transmitter in it to transmit the sound to my wireless earphones. Unfortunately, I didn't bring my wireless, and so I couldn't use that. Thought I was going to be able to. However, I also saw on the new airplane that we came on, they actually allow you to use wireless directly to the seat back. Never tried that, never saw it happen before, but that's both of those things are useful. Have my digital watch. Had to bring the watch charger because I know that this thing runs out after a few weeks, even if I don't have it connected on Bluetooth all the time. It runs out of battery before a month-long trip goes by, so I had to charge it once during that. So the charger for my watch. I'm a swimmer. I love to swim. In the past, oh, this is not the one. Somewhere in here, my eyesight, reading glasses. So I brought some reading glasses along in case I needed them. Sometimes do, sometimes don't. Depends on how dark it is. That. Shirts. Basically cotton shirts, holiday shirts. So I was bringing Hawaiian print shirts. Yes, it makes me look like a tourist wearing a Hawaiian print shirt like this one and this other one that I brought. But on the cruise, they were great. Nice looking for different casual, classy casual. A shirt like this, I'd fit in anywhere these days in Europe. Another cotton shirt worked great if I wanted to fit in and look like a local, which can sometimes be. Now, saw that this was recommended, a box like this to put food in for during the days. This one seals up pretty good. It has a little bit of air vent on it, and it pops out. I saw in another YouTube video somebody saying, oh, these were great. They worked well for leftover food at meals to bring back to the place they were staying, put in the fridge, eat another meal with. I didn't really find any use for it on this trip or so. We ended up putting in our food instead of into this, although we used this once or twice a little bit. It really had no beneficial, any more benefit than what we always bring. We always bring Ziploc bags with us to put sandwiches or foods in, snacks in during the day if we're traveling around and such. So we brought those things with us. In our case, we went through San Francisco and we took the BART, the Bay Area Rapid Transit System. We actually started in Sacramento, took the Capitol Corridor train over to Richmond, got on BART. It was the cheapest way and really the easiest way in the long run to travel on our trip to and from Sacramento to San Francisco International Airport and back. Worked great. Of course, you don't want to forget your sunglasses. I always put a string on it so that I don't lose them. If I want to drop them down or something, keep them out of the way. Let's get this off the bed. My compact backpack doesn't take up much room. I always had my hat. Notice that I get sunburns with my Northern European complexion if I'm out in the sun too much, so I brought a compacting hat. In my opinion, not the greatest looking in the world, but it sure does take up no space in here. So have that to bring along so I don't get sunburn on the top of my head or on my face so much. Works great.
Start now.
Ready? Somebody suggested that we bring one of these covering bowl type of things. This one is still unused, but spreads out to cover a bowl or a plate. Basically, it's plastic wrap that takes up no use for, say, on the cruise or someplace to keep food fresh, put it in the refrigerator. We never actually used it. If we had any food or something, we'd just stick it in a Ziploc bag, worked fine. In some ways, I still recommend this for the cruise, but we didn't use it. On our trip to Europe 2 months ago, I came back with a set of 2 forks and 2 spoons that were throwaway items, but they were light, they fit well, they worked well, and so I just took them back to Europe with us, knowing that they were no big deal. But sometimes you want to have some cutlery with you to eat when you're out and about, when you get something. And so we did take the 2 spoons and 2 forks to use along the way. We were glad we did. We used them a couple of times, like racing out of Hostel or something, picking up some yogurt or any number of foods along the way at the places, at the stores. They have lots of stores there that you can buy sandwiches and other things like salads and such that are made fresh to sell that day. And it's a good way of going if you're going to be traveling and moving around a lot like we were. So that was actually pretty valuable on the long run. Of course, bring all of your electronic item adapter things that you need. In this case, I think this is probably a 12-foot USB cable to USB-A to USB-C cable here for charging, so that I have plenty of distance in case I want to reach it. I also bring this, which is a splitter, so that I could plug in and listen to music through the headphone jack while charging the phone at the same time. I really like that. I should have bought one with a C here also, because all the headsets are moving to USB-C. So that would have been the way I went. Instead, I have the standard RCA jack. What's that? 1/8 inch for the back of the seat backs of the airplane. So that was very valuable. And as I said, it plugged into here, and that's why I bought this configuration for the airplane and such. So I don't like the headsets they give you on the airplanes. They don't block the sound well. The earplugs are not very good. I definitely prefer my own that actually fit in the ear and give me better sound while I'm flying and watching the television shows or movies while traveling. Additionally, wherever I'm at, I prefer my own headset that sounds better and gives me higher fidelity and better sound quality than those that don't fit my ear properly. Uh, and because they're going to USB-C on my new phones, I had to bring a USB-C one also for when I wasn't using the adapter. Bring a variety of I brought a variety of electronic adapter components, such as this for USB card. No, this is a C to A, USB A adapter. Here's an extender for C to C. I brought one for the card in case I wanted to give somebody a file or receive a file from somebody from my phone to use my phone more as a computer and swap data and stuff. So I could load movies or something that I took with my camera or other camera onto my phone or vice versa, or give it to someone else. I find that useful. You may not be into electronics and such cameras like I am, so it may not be valuable. This is the one I was missing. As I said, I'm a swimmer, so I always like to bring a pair of goggles for the swimming pool or for the ocean or whatever if I'm going to be swimming, um, because I like to be able to see in the water if I go down or swim laps or mess around, look for fish or anything like that. I always bring at least a swimming suit. I bet it's right here. Yep. I always bring a swimming suit. In my case, a swimming suit, pair of shorts, and a goggles. I bring the swimming suit a lot for sleeping in at night. This is a pair of short swimming suit, and I can sleep in these at night if I'm in a place like a hostel where I'm going to be getting up in the night, going to the restroom, not having to worry about it. I don't like these particularly plastic ones. I like my other ones better, but these work fine for the purpose of getting up in the night and swimming. Black socks. We were on a cruise. We had formal nights. I brought black, what are they called? Black commuter pants that fit really well that I could use for formal nights. I brought black socks. I brought black tennis shoes for formal nights that look pretty good. And then I'd have formal wear along with a long sleeve shirt and ties. I brought a couple ties. My wife made me bring two. I thought one would be enough. My fun mathematics tie and this other one for our formal nights. And in that many days, there was like 3 different formal nights on the cruise. A pen is useful to have in case there's somebody you meet, you want to write down their information or write down some information and not just put it into your phone. So I like a pen. That's useful. Of course, a tie clasp, something. I brought a necklace along to wear to look a little bit sharper when when dressing sharp. If you're out and about, having ibuprofen or Tylenol or something to kill the pain when you get a headache from dehydration, such as flying, where you lose your hydration really fast, might pick up a headache along the way. I always bring a pack of ibuprofen with me. That's what I prefer. And I encourage you to bring one along with you for the course of the month so that when you need one, you don't have to go out and try and find a place to buy one. That gets ridiculous when you get to that point. And I often find myself dehydrated while I'm traveling and touring around and such because of being such a unusual situation of not just being sedimentary in a place where there's drinks always available. So always bring that along. I encourage you also to bring some Band-Aids in case you have an issue with that. In my case, I brought along my favorite, what are these, supplements? I like B complex because it gives me energy for about 4 hours, uh, and some others. So bring your vitamins with you if you're going to be gone that long and you like them particularly. You don't want to go without them, or your medications. I like to put them in Ziploc bags because then I can see what I've got in them. Some people say don't put them in, keep them in the original prescription containers. I've never had a problem with that. They've never said, oh, you can't take these with you. But then again, I don't bring a big old suitcase full of pills. If you're doing that, expect to get pulled over and all your pills taken away. So small quantity of these shouldn't be an issue. I bring some gifts for folks along. Got some gifts inside here that are no big deal and they don't take up a lot of room. So it's something special that I can give to people who I meet along the way, who become friends or something along the way. You might want to as well have some kind of a knick-knack thing that would cause them to remember you or to be a nice gesture toward them. Um, my white cotton shirt. Temperatures can get hot out there in the summer in different places. I've decided a nice thick white cotton shirt makes a good way of staying cool with the sun beating down and staying away from plastic shirts in the heat. Vaseline for the lips, definitely. On the airplanes or during traveling, get dehydrated, the lips dry out. It's good to have something like this for, again, self-medication, having it handy. Always make sure that it's a screw top because if they get too hot and melt, you don't want them messing everything up with the oil that comes from. So always the screw top ones. Some more small bags for use for different objects and such along the way to put stuff in. I found both trips that at some points I was out using my phone so much using the Google Maps and the location GPS finder that I would use up my battery in it on the phone, and it would go very low to the point that I was concerned I might not be able to find my way back to where I was staying for the night or going to. So I bring inside this Ziploc bag a battery charging unit to charge up my phone battery directly, so that if I'm out and about and run down to zero, that I don't have to worry about it. It's a little bit heavy, and I probably don't need quite that big of a battery, but that's what I have, and it works just great for me if I need it in a pinch and emergency. Than that. Oi, that. This is the cover to my 360 camera. I ended up getting a rubber cover for the lenses instead, and this doesn't really hold it once I put the rubber cover on, so I didn't end up using it once I put the rubber cover on, so wasn't that useful. Tripod. If you're going to have a camera, this was a tripod for the 360. It also works if you want to do, I forgot what it's called, the aerial shot or something. But if you want a tripod, it's nice to have one for your camera so that you can take a picture. Of course, if you're camera buffs, you know that and know what to bring. This one worked fine, but didn't really end up using it because I didn't use it's for my 360 camera, and I ended up using the other stick instead. All right, comb in case my hair needed combed. No big deal. Always useful. Oh, these are always important. This is a package of stuff, and there they are. My sleeping pills. Found them. I wanted them the last flight back to help me sleep, but I always bring sleeping pills to help me adjust to the time zone difference. I find the first couple days, if I use sleeping pills, it helps me adjust to the time zones faster. And since we were staying in Well, on the airplane, I like to use earplugs to block off the sound. Oh my gosh, the children were yelling and crying. There's a kid, baby, young 2 year old or something, who was crying and yelling like crazy on our flight over there. Ridiculous. Even with the earplugs in, could hear them too well. But I always bring earplugs and an eye cover in the hostels we stayed in. It was good to have these because we couldn't completely control the light in there and such. So so those were important things to have, and I would recommend them along the way. What else? Okay, so in London it started raining on us. I was expecting July weather like for Seattle or Whidbey Island, where I'm from, in the Puget Sound and Washington State. Was not expecting rain so much. I was shocked to find that there was so much rain in London. Just, a shower here, a shower there, um, just constantly. Got soaked in Edinburgh and got soaked at the Giant's Causeway. Wished I had an umbrella. So, umbrella, or as they call them there, what do they call brawly. I had to ask somebody what a brawly was when they mentioned a brawly, and apparently in UK or in England they call these things brawly. So umbrella was really useful. Brought it home as a souvenir because this one is I might use it around here, but look at that. It's the British flag. So this is just a cheap throwaway one, which didn't fare well in the wind, but it survived and it made it all the way back here to America. And so there it is. Well worth the time. And the cover for that one. My wife and I love these on Princess Cruises. Princess Cruise uses a medallion that they give you when you either before they either mail them to you in advance or give it to you when you get to the cruise ship. They want you to keep it on you and at you all the time. We put the medallion inside this little thing and stick it on our watch bands. It's the easiest way not to add anything to our bodies and not have to wear these things for the medallions hanging around our neck all the time or any other things. My wife and I both agree that these were the most practical in the long run for that. So this got it off of the internet someplace. Don't even remember where. It was recommended, and I still find it very useful to have one bag for laundry and shower. So if you have dirty clothes, you can stick it in a bag like this one. Pretty tough. I could also put my shower stuff, my clothes for getting out of the shower and changing clothes at the shower, as well as my shampoo and anything else that I needed. Towel worked out great to hang over whatever was there to keep my stuff handy and not get it wet and not have it fall all over the place. Large enough size. This one is a large enough size for me and not too large. Worked out great. Used it both this trip and the last trip. Found it wonderful. This is a jacket to stay a little bit warm. This jacket, being mostly cotton and polyester, didn't get worn at all. It wasn't very practical. It was too warm to actually need a jacket, except for a rain jacket or a windbreaker. And this is neither a rain jacket nor a windbreaker, and didn't get used at all. I would recommend that you don't bring a regular pullover jacket or hoodie or whatever. Wasn't useful. Nope, not in the summertime in any place like that where it was 70 degrees and such, or hotter in other places. T-shirt, gotta have t-shirts. I just brought my t-shirt from home from my Hawaii trip last fall. Hawaii cotton, so it would be there. Dark blue, so it wouldn't get dirty. Practically black. And I have the other one as well. let's not lose that. Put that over there. Since we stayed in hostels, found on the previous trip, it was important to have a lock, but not just any lock. I thought that the locks, the suitcase locks, the little ones that have just a little loop on them, would be enough, the kind that can hold zippers together. But in a couple occasions, that size was just too small to use as locks on the drawer in our hostels. So ended up having to buy these. Fortunately, got a good deal, but that's about the right size. Not too big, not too small, with a big enough loop on it to be able to put on whatever type of locking arrangement it was. Not too small. You don't want too small, or you find you might not have enough length of the actual hasp. Is that the name? I think the word is hasp to lock whatever you're locking. Brought a second polyester travel pants, long, just to have something else and not have a second one. Worked out fine. Again, it's easier to clean, not a big deal. Then you have a change of clothes along the way. And these shorts, my shirt, as I mentioned, the pocket that I could stick stuff in, but I found the cargo shorts were great. I had we used credit cards, the modern credit cards that you can use for tapping in and out of the underground or subway in England. Use them a lot, use them on the trains as well, use them probably in Scotland and Ireland as well. And I found that if I put the one I was using in my main pocket and the ones I wasn't using in my other cargo pants pockets over here, that I could always just reach in and not worry about pulling two out, losing one when I was tapping in or tapping out, or as they call it, touchless pay system. Here is my belt rolled up. Didn't actually use this. My pants were such that that I didn't need it. My shirt was fine. Didn't end up needing it, which gets us to the last couple things. Ended up using two of these. These are lighted adapter chargers for charging phone and cameras these days. This one and the other one are lighted on the outside, which is really useful in our cabins on the cruise ship, because I could stick one of these in the plug in the bathroom, and then I didn't have to turn the light on in the bathroom in the middle of the night when I wanted to use the bathroom, and then wake myself up. And so I really liked these lighted ones. They're great. All right, getting down to the last items. Microfiber towel. Takes very little room. I got about the largest one I could find. Wasn't as large as a regular towel, but pretty doggone close. You'll see here. We've liked them for our trips. You can see how big this one is. There it is. Almost. I guess that would be about bath towel size, not beach size, but we figured we could use it on the beach if we ended up there. But they dry pretty fast. Was very useful in multiple ways, using it on the trip, and it takes up very little space with this that it came with. We could stick it on the outside of our backpacks, and it would dry while we were traveling if need be. Also brought one of these little tiny, add water, they get bigger, hand towels, which I ended up using one of these and was very useful. Very useful for that. Then when I used it a couple of times and it started to shred, I could just throw it in the garbage and not worry about it. So it worked great for us. Loved it. Still love it. Recommend it. Just to have a hand towel for washing the face or whatever. This, we decided were this style was the best for us for sleeping on an airplane. The expandable blow up, I was going to blow it up before the video started, but you can see how fast this one blows up. That's enough to see what it is. So it opens here, has openings there. This is longer than the other one that I had. The shorter ones that I had was just the right size, a couple inches shorter for my wife. This one a bit taller for me to sit and sleep like this in the airplane. Worked great. Slept a few hours on the way home, rested on the way over there. If I was in a pinch, I could use this as a pillow along the way that way as well. It's a little bit bulky, a little bit heavy, but rather than being exhausted and wishing I had had something and being less comfortable on the airplane or not having something like this, you know, if you have a long layover in an airport, you've got a pillow, very useful. So I recommend this as opposed to those neck horseshoes or anything else that I've seen for on the airplane for pillows and such. So those are the things that I brought and what I thought of them, plus and minus, what was useful, what was less useful. And I wish that you guys have a great trip on your own adventure, just as we had a great trip on our adventure. And like all adventures, there's going to be good things and bad things that come along. So if you can minimize the bad things and maximize the good things and take care of yourself by planning ahead, you'll find that the trip is much more interesting and more of something that you'd like to do again by bringing the stuff that you need. Less stressful. Well, thanks for watching this video. I encourage you to subscribe to the channel and keep watching videos as I post them. Hopefully they'll be interesting to you. I appreciate your watching. I'm Guy Gifford. Have a great day.